You're listening to episode 52 on the Air Hug Community Podcast. Welcome. Hello and welcome. My name is Judy Arizosa and I am the host of the Air Hug Community Podcast. And if you're new here, let me just tell you what we're all about. We are a community that believes supporting each other can be wonderful and it helps improve the lives of others as well as our life. We believe in living well, and that includes physical fitness, eating well, but also mental fitness. We believe that movement should be fun and that eating to live better should also be fun and delicious. We have conversations and stories from guests and myself that are often inspired by the thousands of conversations I've had one-on-one with working with women over the last dozen years, but also with conversations with several of my besties with our one-on-one walks that we love to take together. So have a listen, and I'm really glad you're here. Thank you so much for joining in.
We all have this perception that, cancer is stronger than we are. And, when you hear the word cancer, it's like this big dark cloud.
I'm really moved by your whole attitude in this whole thing, and your whole, just the way that you have approached it with such, I almost want to say, enthusiasm.
It's funny because it feels enthusiastic. Like I feel enthusiastic about all of the possibility that's to come. I think what is really exciting is feeling the fear of the not knowing, right? And feeling the fear of being presented with this. And just trying to pay attention to my strength and doing everything as gracefully as I could. And along the way, realizing like, oh, I'm a lot stronger than I thought I was, or I'm stronger than what this thing is, this where we all have this perception that, cancer is stronger than we are. And, when you hear the word cancer, it's like this big dark cloud. And just really being confronted with like how I'm going to move through this. And like anything else, it's just another challenge in life, but also taking it as an opportunity to change my life, change my connections with people and things like that. So, and having all of those connections be so beautiful, and seeing the community show up the way that it has is just like, oh, this is the most loving experience I've ever had. And to even just change the framework of like, this is here for me. I think that was the biggest thing. And so it's here for me. So let's see what it's all about.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so that was a great introduction. I don't even have to introduce you, but I will anyways. People listening, this is my friend Lorraine Santos, and we met a number of years ago. And I don't know, I've always been very fond of Lorraine, Little Santos, little nickname there. So Lorraine, tell us just a little bit about yourself before your cancer diagnosis.
Well, I am a mother of two. I was an entrepreneur, or am an entrepreneur, but in the field of personal training and health and wellness, and just a very active, super active and healthy lifestyle that I live. And that seems to just sum it up.
Yes. And then about how many months ago?
It was in February of this past year.
So this is currently the end of July. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So in January, I had kind of noticed this little lump in my breast, and I went right in and got it, looked at. And so February 1st, I was told that it was a tumor.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
And how did you initially react to that?
Gosh, when I felt that there was something, it was kind of, I was like, well, this is just whatever this is. I have to get it taken out. This is just not a normal. It seemed like a little pea was in my breast, and so I kind of already knew that whatever it was, that I had to get it taken out. So I naively thought, well, if it's something, we're going to go in, we're going to take it out, I'm going to be done, and within a couple of weeks, I'm going to be on my way. And after getting it tested and seeing what kind of tumor it was, and being told that my course of treatment would need to be chemotherapy, I think that's when I put up a lot of resistance. And so that kind of bummed me out. And so I took a few weeks just really trying to find some alternative methods. I was really, really resistant to chemotherapy. I think the idea of chemotherapy was the stories that you've heard of chemotherapy, the losing of your hair, mm-hmm. All the lifestyle changes that they tell you that's associated with it. It's really scary. It's really scary. And it was really overwhelming. So I was emotionally listening a lot of the time. I was just in a place of like, what am I going to do? And it's not going to be that. So it was a lot of just emotions.
So emotionally listening, you were paying attention to what was going on with your thoughts and feelings?
So when I would go to these appointments where they were giving all of this information, I was there and I was taking what they were saying, and I was immediately just taking it in and feeling the effects of it. Mm-hmm. Before, just unconsciously just feeling the effects of it, feeling sad, feeling angry, feeling despair, feeling so just sad that my life is going to change. Like here, they're telling me all of the things with it. So luckily I had beautiful support of friends and family mm-hmm. That were with me that could just really listen and take it all in medically, mm-hmm. and let me know remind me of what was going on. But mm-hmm. yeah, it was overwhelming. For sure. That was like my word for March, would be overwhelming.
Overwhelming. Oh,
yeah.
My goodness. I truly can't imagine. But now I didn't really hear about it until later. Because, mm-hmm. we stay in touch, but kind of mm-hmm. Irregularly, I would say. And so I was totally shocked. And I felt like by the time I spoke with you, maybe in April, that you didn't, outwardly, at least the way you communicated was not despair. In fact, the first thing you said to me was, this is a beautiful thing.
Yeah. So I speaking with some close friends of mine, and just not wanting to connect myself to this mm-hmm. cancer, right? I didn't want to call it cancer. I didn't want to call it, I actually called it my loving karmic awareness. And just kind of,
what did you call it?
My loving karmic awareness.
Okay.
And just really changing my mindset. Once I was told that chemo was my course of treatment, mm-hmm. that there really wasn't a way around it, even after speaking to some doctors with some alternative medicines and therapies, mm-hmm. Even they were like, yeah, that this HER2 positive tumor that you have really does need chemo. So no matter what. So it was at that time where I was like, oh, okay, I gotta change my mindset around all of this. And I just realized I just started looking at the chemo as this medicine. It's a medicine that was going to help me, and realize that this is here, like I said before, like this is here for me. And now just kind of figuring out like, what's it trying to tell me? What's going on in my life? Like, why is what is the underlining picture, and why is it here? And so also going into chemo and changing my mindset about what chemo was, chemotherapy was, and realizing like it's a medicine that is here to help me move through this time. So I would go in and I would have the very first day I had my nurse. I'm like, could you just like make me a little flag or something for my drip line, to just, let's just get our minds wrapped around, this is love, this is offering me peace, this is
Yeah.
offering me an opportunity. And just psychologically, like having, she did a beautiful like sun, and she did a beautiful heart, and she did something,
Oh,
another little picture, and she like taped them up on my line just to remind me like, this is healing, this is
this is,
for me, this isn't um, chemicals that are being put into my body. This isn't, just changing the mindset from even from that place
mm,
really helped a lot. And being just so grateful as opposed to being so fearful, turning that fear into gratitude,
oh,
and
I love that.
thanking the medicine, um, thanking the nurses and the other people that were extending their love and support, and always just trying to turn it around to gratitude. Yeah.
Well, I
It,
love that. That is,
yeah.
I mean, to go in, and of course,
Hmm.
it is scary because what we
Hmm.
always hear the stories about chemo, and we see people,
Hmm.
and but at the very core of it, it is there to help you. And I just
Yeah.
love how you took something so scary
Hmm.
and literally just with your perspective, you're changing, all right, this is here to help me. It's going
Right.
to help heal you.
Right.
And this is the way it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be helping you heal. And
Yeah.
yeah, and
Yeah. Well, and I haven't experienced this in my life with family, or anybody really close to me.
you're a
And
trailblazer. Yeah.
yeah, so I didn't know kind of, but I also, with that being said, it was hard for me to also reach out to other people because I didn't want their projection. I didn't want other people's projection of fear to kind of creep in. I think I was kind of scared of that too, and feeling like I'm a little vulnerable. And
Yeah.
but what I realized with my family, especially my kids and whatnot, is that even though I'm going through this, that they're really scared, and and it was a beautiful opportunity. That's my word of the year. It was
Yes.
my beautiful opportunity with my family, to get as be as open and real and authentic and truthful with how we're all really feeling about this. And know, it, I think that was one of the biggest things that I'm so grateful for, is that feelings and things are going to show up. It's, my kids are 11 and 13, and they process things in their own way. My daughter was a little angry at times, or just a little
Yeah.
standoffish, and my son was the complete opposite, was so upset and whatnot. And so just to be open, like, these are real feelings, this is really happening, but
Mhm.
also to also remember, like, um that I'm okay, and we're all in this we're all in this together, and just to be open with how we're feeling all the time, and be
Yeah.
truthful about really what's going on all of the time and stuff. And
Wow, that's really
yeah,
amazing that you're able to, just be open and honest. And I love you said authentic, just with your family.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And with myself, I think this is something that has shown me, with myself, to see people worrying about you and caring about you, and um, loving you, but also seeing their fear of not only just for you, but then also putting themselves, the empathy of them putting themselves in your shoes, and their fear of how they would feel if this happened to them.
Yeah.
I so many times wish I could take that away from them. I wish I could have taken that fear away from them, because I'm like, it's okay. I'm okay. I'm on the side of it. Like, you don't have to be scared for me. Um, because I'm not scared, and just, I'm just trust me, like it's all going to be okay. And again, like, just remembering and reminding them that this is an opportunity not only for me, but this is an amazing opportunity that anybody that I know who is in my life, they're going to be affected and touched by this.
Yeah.
And the people that they know are going to be affected and touched by this, and so on and so on and so on. And
It
so, like,
ripples.
it ripples. And I'm like, oh my God, if I was like, this is a beautiful rippling effect. This is them opening their hearts and support up to me, which is then going to extend out to the other people in their lives. And if anything, like, this opportunity is helping me touch a lot of people's lives. And that's just a beautiful thing.
It's unbelievable. And I will
Yeah.
tell you, we had a visit the other day and we chatted, and you totally restored my confidence in humanity, first of all.
Mm,
But the one thing that we talked about, I don't know if you remember, we talked about how we all talk about how we have to like love ourselves first before anything
yes.
else. But you talked about having to do this on a whole other level. Like it's one thing to talk about and read a quote and think
Mm-hmm.
about it, even maybe for 5 minutes, in your gratitude journal in the morning or whatever. But like
Mm-hmm.
you're living this. And can you explain that feeling?
Gosh. Coming back to self has really, yeah, it's been a theme throughout all of this. Nobody can do this. When we get into these situations that are challenging, I think we all wish to be rescued in a
Yeah.
way. We all wish to have somebody come in and give us that, sprinkle of magic that'll just take it all away.
Hmm.
And nobody can. You sit with yourself a lot. And I've had the my kids are with me just part-time, and I have a partner, but I live by myself.
Hmm.
And it's given me a lot of time to sit with myself, and that's been both difficult as all heck, because I'm
Hmm.
like, wait, I'm not feeling well, or wait, I've got this going on in my life. This is the biggest thing going on in my life, and trying to survive here.
Hmm.
And so it's hard to be alone. And then it's been, again, a beautiful opportunity to drop into meditation. It's been a really beautiful opportunity to take time to, like, look at myself in the mirror and be with myself and really love myself in this, here where I'm at. Can I
Hmm.
love myself as my hair is falling out? Can I love myself, as my life is changing. I'm not working as much, just a little.
Hmm.
I'm not working out as much as I was before. And can I love myself here? I think we have such a perception of who we are,
Hmm.
this image of I'm a mother and I'm, a fitness instructor and I'm busy and I've got scheduling and I've got that, we really lose sight of like who we are at the core.
Yeah.
And we don't want to slow down. We don't want to stop doing what we're doing. And it's taught me a lot about finding the grace and the beauty and the love in slowing down. And if I can love myself here in this place of, again, our attachment to the physical is a big thing. We don't know it
Huge.
and we don't know it, right, until we're
So we
compromised
can't
of it.
control it. Right. I mean, you
Right.
literally can't control this.
Right.
As far
And
as,
it's like, can you see the beauty within yourself here? And other people will tell you, you're beautiful, you are strong, you are, capable. But really, like, it tests you to, so that you really, really, really believe within yourself, like, I am beautiful and I am strong and I am capable. And it's such an empowering feeling. And it's such an empowering place it's such an empowering place to like live your life from.
yeah.
This deep, deep knowing of yourself and the strength that you have within you.
I have to say, as people are listening to this, like as I'm listening to you and the few conversations that we've had recently, I can feel like I don't even have to look at you to feel like your inner beauty coming through in the conversation. Just the reflections that you talk about and in just the perspective and how you talk about, you're so honest about like being alone is hard, but then you change your perspective and said, well, this is a great opportunity to meditate, right? And have you taught some meditations? Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, I've gotten into more, I've taught a little, but it's definitely given me a desire to want to teach more. It's definitely given me a desire to do everything that connects with breath, that does everything that connects with our inner self.
Mm-hmm.
And again, this whole idea of like, I'm physically alone in my space, but it's also showed me that I have everything that I need. I have an abundance of love from my community. I have an abundance of love from my family. And I don't think that I would have, I don't know if I would be doing the things for myself with such grace if I wasn't given the opportunity to sit with myself. So even that, all of the things in our life, things show up for us. And at first, because they're uncomfortable, we have such resistance to them. And if we could just stop and take a minute and see, like, it's showing up for a reason. Everything shows up for a reason. And it's like, okay, this is really like, this is for me. And so I'm grateful to see the gratitude in that. I'm grateful to have haven't been given the opportunity to sit with myself. And it hasn't been easy. Some nights I would sit with myself crying the entire night, just letting the feelings of all of this overwhelming thing, like, just come up and just letting them out. And there's such beauty in that, in our process. It's a beautiful thing. And I think that sometimes with a lot of people around, or just with the certain ways that we're living life, we just distract ourselves from those real feelings.
Yeah. Would you say that when we're busy, we almost are avoiding our feelings? It almost sounds like,
yeah.
And you have been given this opportunity, but it's a lesson for all the people who are connected with you too, to be like, maybe we need to just be alone with ourselves.
Yeah. The whole time I had this idea, I'm like, I'm going to set up an altar. I'm going to meditate every morning. I had this idea of how it was going to go, right? I wanted to control. It was like, let me control something, because I think we're all creatures of that as well, right?
Oh
We
my
want some
gosh,
type of
yes.
control,
Yeah.
because control, we want to feel safe. And if certain aspects of our life are out of control, like cancer is something that you can't control, you
No.
want to try and control something. And so I would be like, I want an altar. I want to set up my morning every day like this. I want to do it like, this like that, this like that. And I saw myself throughout this process. It didn't quite go as, again, like as I had planned, which I'm like, okay, this is another lesson. It's beautiful. But there was spaces and places of where I found meditating. It didn't come first thing in the morning always. But it showed up throughout my day, every day. And my connection, to yoga, and my connection, it all showed up. And when I realized, like, I don't have to control it, and I can just let things be, and just appreciate them for when they do show up, recognize when they do show up. It was just that also too was just releasing control, but being open, surrendering and being open. This whole art of allowing. It was
Wow. Just
yeah, it
surrendering
was
to it.
great.
Yeah. I say a lot of wows and things. And, obviously people around you, maybe I can only speak for myself, have limited experience with cancer. I definitely have several people in my family, including a spouse, who dealt with this. But
Yeah.
just being someone who really still hasn't walked in those shoes, I feel like you're giving people and even just this conversation, you're giving people such an opportunity to, again, all the things we talk about, but do we really do them? To really appreciate,
Yeah.
ourselves and what's going on. And you've
And our
just,
life.
in our
Really
life.
appreciate our life. Like, it's
Yeah.
amazing at how quickly you can switch from like, man, this is our life it's so precious. It's so
So
precious. And
precious.
I think a lot of us just take it for granted. And we have a choice of how we want to live it. We have a choice of how we want to live it when our lives are going well. And we have a choice of how we want to live it when we are faced with challenges. And I would get a lot of comments of like, your attitude is so positive, you're doing so well. And I'm thinking to myself, like, I don't know any other way to do it.
Yeah.
This is just how I truly have learned to live life, and how I want to, I'm in control of how I want to create my life. And I want it positive. I want it beautiful. I want it with gratitude. I want it, and so the only way it's going to be that is for me to be those things, and to lead all aspects of my life with love, and realize how precious it is, and to carry on like that.
Wow. And I think that is amazing, because not everyone is like that, but I think we could all aspire to learn from that, and just let's take life on with, live life with abundance and gratitude, and good times and bad, and whatever is given to us. It's so funny. I just did an episode, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 back, about, does everything really happen for a reason? And I pondered that question in a discussion, basically with myself, on the podcast. But
Yeah,
you mentioned that a little bit
it
ago.
does. I believe that it all happens for a reason, for
So
sure. It all does. And I think it's just our higher selves, our inner beings just know, and we're along, you know, we're along for the ride for it.
yeah, but I also feel like these reasons, like, as I've known you through the years, I've noticed a few years before this that you had really started to do a lot of inner work more than just, and of course you've always done physical work, and you were always very, like when you were show prepping and getting ready for Spartan races, always very dedicated and balanced and totally got it. And there wasn't anything you wouldn't do to get ready when you were coached, but
Right.
I noticed in the years following that you did a lot of inner work, and
Yeah, it's really easy, I think, for me. I think that my physicality is what I've identified myself with throughout my life. My ego definitely.
you
My
even
ego.
said that to me at one point early on. Yes, I remember
Yeah.
that conversation. Yeah.
Yeah, and I've always, I think, like in this idea of wanting to be validated, and something to prove, and all of these things, like my physical self has always thrived. And I
Yes.
have this honest belief that my higher self is like, you've got, okay, physical check. Now let's
Now let's
tap
move
into
on. Yeah.
something. Yeah, let's move on. You've excelled at that. That's easy for you. So we need to really focus on the emotional you and the heart-centered you. And so yeah, a couple of years ago, I was on this journey of like, man, there's just this burning light that I have inside of me. And because of how at the time, going through my divorce, going through some challenging times, I'm like, it was felt heavy. It felt heavy. And I'm like, God, I don't want to do life like this. I don't want to do life feeling heavy. I know that there's a more loving, better, brighter way to do this. I didn't quite know how to get there, what it was.
Hmm.
But it was taking a lot of hard looks at my shadows, taking a lot of hard looks at some of the things that I've picked up along the way, self-doubt, unworthiness, needing for validation,
Hmm.
and looking at those and being like, where did they come from? And they're here. And how do I work on that? I want to love myself as, in a way that, like, that's all that matters. It was really important to me. And so I think that starting that journey a few years back definitely has just helped my mindset and my positivity throughout all of this as well.
Yeah, amazing. And I can
Mhm.
see it. I saw it in our conversation the other day. I can see it now. And, this sounds like so cliche, but you are quite an inspiration,
Oh,
you know,
thanks.
and
Thanks.
it's so funny. Like, I selfishly want to keep talking to you. Like, and I'm like, she
I
needs,
want
she needs to have some alone time, and I'm sure, but I
to.
just feel like what you are. And I also am having this feeling coming to me that is saying, she's supposed to do this because she's going to have like you said earlier, a ripple effect on so many
Mhm.
other people, that this is going to spread some lessons for all of us. For
Yes.
you especially, but for all of us
Yeah.
who are connected with you. So I have to thank you for you, like, carrying the heavy load for us.
Yeah, thanks. I'm so honored to do it. Really. I am so excited to also see this opportunity, where I'm going to go with it.
Mhm.
Like, I'm a completely changed person. I don't even know. That's really exciting to me. I'm like, man, I don't know how my
How's
hair is going
cancer
to grow
exciting?
back.
Yeah.
I don't know how my hair is going to grow back. I don't know
Maybe you'll kind of like staying the way it is. Who knows? Yeah.
a little more, but living life differently. And that is exciting to me. I don't know what that looks like. I know how I am living life more through how it feels, as opposed to like this cognitive way of being in my head about it all. And just that in itself feels really good. But again, I am not the same person as I was when all of this started. And
No.
that's super exciting for me. I'm inspired by me. To
Yeah,
just
I
keep.
love it. Yeah, and the fact that you've been
Mhm.
so open to and aware of what's going on. I first of all, thank you so much for coming on. I know you have an appointment that you have to
Yeah.
get to, But you have totally opened up a world. And just, I mean, there's a lot of people listening. Who knows, in their future,
Mhm.
folks, any one of us might end up with a diagnosis like this. And I'll tell you what, we're going to want to come back and listen to Lorraine. And Lorraine, just, is there a
Yeah.
way that people can connect with you if they want? Is there a social media that you prefer people maybe message you through, or a website?
Instagram would be great. At Little Santos.
Okay.
Um, it seems to be the
Instagram messaging
preferred,
seems to be,
yeah,
yeah.
the
Okay, great.
preferred way and stuff. But yeah, any questions, comments, concerns, I'm completely open, and yeah, I would love to help in any way that I can.
So, and maybe people would love to help you too and offer whatever love,
Yeah.
understanding, prayers. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I'm open. That's another thing, is receiving, is being in the we're such givers as women and mothers, and
mm-hmm.
we're such givers. To stop and to really receive openly has been, again, there's so many lessons to be learned and stuff. So
So,
yeah.
wow. Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
good point about
Hmm.
learning to receive, right? Because you
Hmm.
typically have been the nurturing one, and now it's time to
To
be
be
nurtured.
nurtured, and now I'm like, bring it, I'll take it.
Yeah, absolutely. Take it.
Yeah, yeah,
So, and what goes around comes around, but not even for that. It's your turn.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
thank you.
I mean, seriously, was that inspiring or was that inspiring? Lorraine has just taken on such an amazing perspective. She's treating this whole cancer journey as lessons, so many lessons, and what life is doing for her, not to her. And I think there's so much that we can glean from this in our own lives, no matter what our situations are. And I just was so inspired by chatting with her, and I hope you were too. So, anyways, thank you so much for tuning in today. This has been the Air Hug Community Podcast, and we have new episodes out every single Tuesday. And I want to just thank you for tuning in. Hey, and I just have a quick reminder. If you would like a little bit of a motivation tune-up, you're welcome to go ahead and grab my Manifesting Motivation Masterclass, and it's my gift to you. It's completely complimentary. You can find a link to it in the show notes, and who knows, it just might change your life.